Welcome back to Sports Dump, Lewis County's only sports podcast, sponsored by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery, Global Septic, and AmeriCool Heating and Cooling. I'm Aaron Van Tile, joined tonight by Chronicle sports editor Josh Kirschenbaum, Chronicle sports reporter Dylan Wilhelm, and Chronicle sports clerk Cody Christian. And welcome back to the Central 2B League podcast. We are, of course, starting with C2BL football from week 2.
Our true love.
Yeah, well, you know, it's the SEC of Lewis County, kind of. Some would say.
Just
the
means
first,
more.
It does mean
Always
more.
expanding.
First game up, Napavine, quote, comes back to beat Onalaska 58-14. Napavine trailed for the first time this season.
After 3 whole possessions.
After 3 whole possessions. Ani was up 8-0. They had a safety and a touchdown, and they were only down 30-14 at halftime. And then Napavine's Caleb Von Preston took the opening snap for a 67-yard touchdown on the first play of the third, and they were off to the races. Napavine finished with 518 yards. They ran for 280, and 233 of those came in the second half. But Onalaska looked pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean, their whole thing last year was that they were a bunch of new kids, and Onalaska is going to go how their offensive line goes. And they just were too small and too inexperienced last year, and they're all back, and they're all bigger. And yeah, I don't know if they out and out won in the trenches last week. It's one of those, we're already in the point of the year. This feels so long ago. But they definitely at least held Napavine to a stalemate in the first half. Basically, nobody was rushing for anything. Napavine had a couple screen passes that really were their offense, and Onalaska had its downfield passing attack that it's famous for now, apparently.
Yeah, people are talking about it.
People are talking about the Onalaska air raid. And then, yeah, Napavine just kind of wore him down. That's the thing about, especially 2B football. It's who has does anybody have the legs to keep up with Napavine for 4 quarters? And the answer is probably not. They went into this 2-back split shotgun set with Von Preston and Cale Stanley. And Onalaska did a really good job of bottling up Cale Stanley for the entire first half and really the entire second half because they were focusing on him, and they just gave it to Von Preston for a couple big plays, and that just really opened everything up. Still waiting to see it all come together for Napavine, and
Yeah, if they ever manage to put it together.
honestly, I
get
get what Josh Fay was saying. Their passing game is not there yet. It's weird because you would think that with Ashton Demers coming back and literally all of his receivers coming back, they would just be flying already, and they really just didn't have a downfield passing game. They had one 50-yard screen pass that set up their first touchdown and one, I think, 75-yard screen pass or something that was a touchdown to Carson Denault. It took them 3 quarters to get a pass that traveled more than like 10 yards in the air. The timing isn't there, and the routes were there. Josh Fay was saying his athletes are what makes this team good. Like, they're getting open, and Demers can hit those throws, and once they do, they're just completely gone compared to everybody else. But it's going to take at least another week or two to see them really explode like that.
All right. Demers did finish 12 of 21 for 238 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also ran for 47 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, Napavine, yeah, pretty good. All right, next game.
Ani punches. It's really who's the next best team in the area, right? And I really liked what I saw out of Ani there. So
Yeah, I haven't been out to watch Onalaska this year yet, but I know last year definitely their struggle was their line just wasn't big enough. And, with Ani's offense, that's something that's absolutely vital, is to have guys that can get push up front. So if they have gotten bigger, like you said, I think they might be, the team to watch for besides Napavine.
I think we're still looking for who's that 3rd best team in the state.
All right. Next game, PL Valley holds on to beat Adna 22-20. Cody was there. He got to watch the whole first half. PL Valley was up 22-12 or 22-14 in the final minutes. Adna scored on a 65-yard pass from Lane Johnson and Luke Money, but the Titans stuffed Johnson on the game-tying 2-point try. Adna pulled off an onside kick to get the ball back, but PL Valley stopped them on downs to win.
Cody got to hear all about all of this on the radio and
on that sweet ride home along Highway 6.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it was not the game of the week. That was Ani Napavine. But another week, another game. I had to leave at halftime because Josh told me to, and it ends up being a final score to decide the game.
He's doing this. I want to, in my defense, he's doing this because he's getting back in time to do these great Instagram.
Yeah, not Josh is just like
I'm not
like
just
punishing
like
him.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't want me to watch good football. But
So wherever
Your
Cody
time
ends
will
up,
come.
wherever Cody ends up this week, that'll more than likely end up being
just
the best game of the week.
What type of car are you driving? If you see that car in the parking lot, you know you're in for a good one.
could be a
Stay till the end.
could be a red F-150. It could be a Honda Civic. Depends on the day.
All right. Anything else you want to note about what you saw in the first half of that game, Cody?
Just a lot of defense, really. Just nothing was really going exponential for either team. No one was moving the ball very much. Adna did score before I left, and I think it was on like a 2-yard run. There weren't many big plays. Or no, it actually was a big play. The touchdown I saw, it was a touchdown reception. But outside of that, I really didn't see anything go more than like 5 yards or so. And like I was telling Josh, it was really hard to get any pictures of PWV. I think it was because they had the ball so like little. Like I feel like the time of possession was completely in Adna's hands. And then, yeah, that's all I really had to say for the first half.
All right. Next game, Toledo 54, Rainier 12. Toledo can also run the ball.
Who'd have thought?
They ran for 454 yards and 7 touchdowns from 7 different players. Ethan Carver had 184 yards, Eli Weeks 103. Weeks also took a pick six back 99 yards. Interesting. Rainier led 12-6 at one point with passing touchdowns from Jake Meldrum to Jordan Pringle and Hunter Howell. But Toledo, are they the third best team in the league?
They might be, and apparently, I mean, they're going to play on Alaska, and we're going to have like 500 combined passing yards, apparently. Because
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for that shootout.
I mean, you got to like what you see from Toledo. You win one game just completely throwing the ball, like 30 times, and you win the next game throwing it like twice. Like, not a lot of teams have that multiple look and can like completely change game plans week to week. It's a pretty strong start for them.
All right, and then our final 2B game, Morton White Pass gets his first win, 42-6 over White Swan. This is, of course, non-league affair. Judah Kelly ran for 90 yards and a touchdown. He also threw for 3 touchdowns. Cohen Inglesby had a 31-yard touchdown run. Brecken Pelletier had 73 yards on the ground. MWP led 28-0 at the half and 42-0 after 3 quarters. Are they fixed?
Maybe. We'll
Okay.
find out this week. Also, I'm gonna beat a dead horse. You need to be more specific. All 4 of these games, in fact, were non-league affairs. Thank you very much.
Oh, right, because they're playing out of division, whatever, man.
Nothing matters. Don't worry.
When do they start league games? This week?
No. I mean, there's only 3 league games in the South and 4 in the North. So I think
In the South, it's the last 3 of the season, I'm pretty sure.
I think some teams go in and out, but it's they're fitting 3 league games in the last 4 weeks or something like that. So it's gonna be a bit.
All right, this podcast is brought to you by Global Septic, providing septic service and portable sanitation for Thurston, Lewis, Mason, Cowlitz, and Grays Harbor counties. They provide septic pumping, inspection, and riser installation, commercial septic pumping, grease trap services. You never know when you're going to need those. And as always, they will rent you a porta potty or a sink for outside your home. Or maybe you want to put them inside. I don't know. I don't know how you live your life. Visit globalseptic.com, GOEBEL septic.com, or give them a call, 360-736-2167.
Much like Cody's truck, if you see it outside a football game, you know it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Hey, no better conversation piece than a porta potty in your living room.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead. It's functional. Now we're on to the A's. First up, Tumwater. They aired it out and beat North Kitsap at 34-14. Ethan Kastner hit all 9 passes for 134 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Economic.
One shy, of the program's single-game record set by Matt Somnus in 2000. They also hit a double pass for a touchdown. Those are fun. Brady Bryant caught 3 touchdown passes, and Jacob Dillon caught 2.
I meant what I said before. Toledo, Onalaska, and Tumwater, all just aerial powers now.
All right. Any other thoughts on Tumwater?
I mean,
they were kind of expected to do that, right? Well, North Kitsap was a semifinalist last year, right?
Finalist. They beat WF West in the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real good win, and it was on the road. I mean, Tumwater stacks its non-league every year, but that's got to be a really good win, both for momentum and just to. As far as I know, there isn't an AP poll this year because nobody's reached out to me. But if there was, this would be one that would get the attention of the voters, aka me and probably Dylan and like 5 other people.
And Jordan, and yeah. All right, Rochester gets into the win column. They beat Kingston 60-28. It was 60-15 before 2 late Kingston touchdowns. Would have been in running clock territory at that point.
Yep.
The Warriors ran for 519 yards through 2 games. They are averaging 499 yards per game on the ground.
Run.
Ethan Rodriguez also returned kickoff for a touchdown. Rochester, are they fixed?
They might be. Dylan, you?
Yeah, something that stood out to me is something that I think is a huge positive throughout these first 2 games, and you see it in the numbers. They had 8 guys carry the ball yesterday, and
Friday.
Friday. Wow, days just
Yeah.
merged together. They had 8 guys carry the ball on Friday, and that's something Coach AJ really wanted to emphasize back in camp, is that they don't want to just have to rely on Watt and Armstrong and those top 2 or 3 guys. They really want to be able to just churn through guys and, like Josh said, just keep fresh legs coming out onto the field. And I don't know, it's clearly working out so far. So,
and again, the theme for the EVCO is you don't need to beat Tumwater every year. You just need to be 3rd or 4th and get into that crossover. And so far, out of that middle of the pack, they're definitely looking the most impressive.
All right, WF West. They went on the road all the way up north to Linden.
And didn't have a great time.
And they lost 48-6. Maybe not unexpected, but also, not great. It was 48-0 before Gage Brumfield ran in a touchdown in the 4th quarter.
I mean, just you compare this to what happened. They played Linden last year at home, and they lost, which most teams that play Linden do, in fact, lose. But the difference between that, which was, I think, like a 13-point game at halftime, and they were down 2 touchdowns going into the 4th quarter, something like this, to, getting running clocks before you really had time to wake up. Like, that's not great. It's non-league, so they have plenty of time to fix it, but they do have to fix it.
Yeah, okay. And Black Hills loses 17-14 to North Thurston. They were up 14-9 late. They missed a 35-yard field goal that would have made it a 2-possession game. North Thurston took over with less than 2 minutes left and scored a long touchdown on 3rd and long to win it.
Shout out Matt Beatty, your favorite new coworker, for covering this one for us. That's the main noteworthy fact about it.
Yeah, Matt Beatty, he's great.
I heard he had a good time with a banana on a Zoom call.
I had to text him and tell him to turn his camera off when he was eating during a meeting today. Yeah, Matt's great. Anyway, last Thursday, Centralia lost to Eatonville 44-21. Kellen Rookledge ran for 243 yards for the Tigers, but they remain winless.
Yep.
And then, do you have something to
add? They looked decent in the second half. They were down 30-7 at halftime, and they were tied at 14 in the second half. That's really all I got. There was more positives than, a game of this caliber last year may have gotten into running clock territory, but they at least showed some fight, and Rookledge seemed to note a couple positives. But
that's good.
Positives you got to be there to see, right? You can't put it into words.
Yeah. And I think they're going into league play this week.
Yep, Aberdeen, right?
Yep.
All right. Saturday, Tenino lost to Zilla 34-32. The Beavers had a bunch of chunk plays, but couldn't get any defensive stops down the stretch. Cody Strawn was 9 of 13 for 288 passing yards. Both Jack Burkhart and Austin Gonia had over 125 receiving yards. They scored to make it 34-32 with 7 minutes left, but got stuffed on the 2-point try, and then Zilla ran the rest of the clock down on a 13-play drive to win it.
Tenino's fun this year. I mean, no knock on what they did last year or the year before, because obviously it was working for them. And there is also fun, Cody will tell you, the former offensive lineman, and just punching someone in the mouth on a 20-play, 70-yard drive or whatever. But, man, they took shots all day long. I was at that game, and Jack Burkhart is 6'6", I think, and he pulled at least like 3 balls just out of triple coverage on deep shots. They hit a trick play. They scored a touchdown on a wide receiver pass for the second straight week. Darren Tinnerstead is having fun leading these guys, and they just need to put it together and actually, score more points than the other team at the end of the 4th quarter. But there are a lot of good signs coming out of Tenino.
All right. This podcast brought to you by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. Josh, how's your furniture looking?
Well, it's looking pretty good, but it could always be better.
You bet it could. Why don't you
What could it be better with?
You could go. I feel like you need a good dining room set, like some benches maybe, around your dining room table, which is you just got pallets, right?
Yeah,
you took all Alex furniture when he left.
Yeah,
bold of you to assume he has a dining room table.
Yeah, I actually don't.
Hey,
Just
maybe
like
we
a
can
TV tray.
Maybe we can invest in something to replace this fold-up table I'm sitting at over
You
here.
know what? We have deposited that
bar
multiple
stool.
times. For some reason, it's always our places that need to get better instead of this weird synthetic rubber / table.
Hey, this table's great, man.
You
I've
promised
spilled
me
a lot of things on it.
You promised me a bar cart last spring, man.
We've got a bar cart right back there.
That is not a cart.
It's got wheels.
It does.
Yeah, look at
It's
that.
a shelf with a fridge on it.
Count it.
Yeah, what more do you want?
Actual.
You know
booze.
what? I bet what we need is one. I bet Elam's Furniture has one. One of those like big globes where it cracks
They-
open
that-
and there's all the
yeah.
liquor in there. That'd be sick. Anyway, when you want to get maybe a
Big globe for booze.
yeah, visit Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. They're open from 10 to 5, 6 days a week. They're closed on Sunday. Get your booze elsewhere. Visit them at 1530 South Gold Street in Centralia, or go to elamshf.com on the internet to check things out.
Should get an internet connected booze globe. I bet they make those.
Yeah, with like Bluetooth on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why you'd need Bluetooth on your
Set
bar
the
cart.
set the
but-
temperature like a grill.
There it is.
All right, in the 1Bs, Mossy Rock blew out Quilcene 54-16. Mossy Rock looks fine. Easton Kolb was 8 of 10 for 214 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he ran 2 in. And Hunter Isom.
I think it's Isom, but I'm
Isom.
not sure.
Hunter Isom had 7 catches, 174 yards, 2 scores.
They can, in fact, play 8-man football still.
All right. If the AP poll existed, would Mossy Rock be receiving votes?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
They would probably still be top 4 until they lose or they play NASL.
So why is there no AP poll?
No clue. There was one 2 years ago, and then the woman who ran it like died suddenly, and somebody came in else from their AP poll and replaced it. There might be one, and I just never get the emails anymore. But my guess is they don't have somebody to organize, and they don't have somebody who knows enough writers to make one.
Yeah, that's probably it. Winlock loses 48-0 to Concrete. Concrete was up 40-0 in the first quarter. The game was called at halftime due to Winlock injuries.
Not great.
And then Oakville lost 52-0 at Bridgeport.
Also not great.
No stats reported. Tough break for Oakville and Winlock.
2 shutouts in a row to start an 8-man season is just not a good time.
No. This podcast brought to you by AmeriCool Heating and Cooling.
If you're also having not a good time, but it's temperature related and not lack of offense related,
Call AmeriCool. Your comfort is their business. They offer full-service HVAC installation, services, and repair with a 100% satisfaction guarantee with everything they do.
just like us, I guess.
Just like this podcast. You can call their 24/7 emergency service line. I'm not going to give you the number, though. You need to go to west.americoolonline.com. I want to have our listeners prank calling our friends at AmeriCool Heating and Cooling.
Prank email them instead.
Yeah, send them an email. It's like, oh, I'm too hot.
Much more modern.
Yeah. AmeriCool Heating and Cooling. Good sponsor. And now, should we talk grid picks?
Jeez, we're just zipping through them.
I know we are. Well, after we get through grid picks, I'll ask you guys about other sports.
Okay, maybe do a little bit more preview with the grid picks this time around.
Sure.
Cool.
All right. This week's grid picks. The standings currently, Jordan is in the lead at 20-7
Just
after
not
2
good.
weeks. Josh and I are both 17-10. Dylan is 16-11. Cody has pulled ahead of Chad at least. He's 12-15.
You know what? You had a really
Hey,
good week last
hey,
week.
Hey,
It was a good week.
I got the receipts. All right.
Last week, Cody went 9-4.
Respectable.
I mean, yeah, that's
I thought it was 9-3.
there was
13
13 games.
Okay.
And Chad is 10-17 on the season.
You're not last.
Yeah.
Matter of
Last
time
week,
till it's back to first.
Last week, Josh and Cody both went 10-3. Cody and I went 9-4. Jordan was 11-2. Dang.
What does Jordan know that we don't?
Mostly he just hates on our area.
Yeah.
So the more
pig
our
farming.
area wins, yeah.
Not
The-
great.
the
Not great
swine
that he's
market.
posted a 20-7 record with that that mindset.
Yeah, let's see. All right, this week's games. Aberdeen at Centralia. Everybody's got Aberdeen except Chad.
Coaches I talked to before the season thought that Aberdeen would be okay, and I actually don't know much about them. But
Do we know what their record is?
I think they're 1-1. They actually had I did this up for the preview capsules. They have a very similar. They had a very similar start to the season to Centralia because they played Hoquiam, who is a bad 1A team, and then they played Montesano, who is a very good 1A team, but they won their game against the bad team. They beat Hoquiam and then just got smashed by Montesano. So,
all right. WF West is at Shelton, and everybody has gone WF West.
Absolutely, positively must-win game for WF West. You don't, like you can take an 0-2 in non-league, but you need to start winning, and they should win this game going away.
They running clocked them last year, according to Josh's preview column.
So would Shelton be a not great 4A school?
They would be
They're 2A.
They're 2A.
Really?
Yeah. It's a league game.
Yeah, they've been in the EBCO for a couple years.
They're a not great 2A school.
My bad. My knowledge of 2A football needs work.
It's okay, man.
You've only been working here for how long?
I've only been doing football for 2 weeks.
Rochester at Black Hills.
This is an interesting one.
Cody and Jordan both have Black Hills. The rest of us have Rochester. I was kind of conflicted on this one. I don't have any insight either way.
I mean, Rochester has been doing everything right offensively, and Black Hills has not.
Okay,
but yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those games. It's not quite winner gets a crossover spot, but winner is going to be in a really good position
to play for third or fourth.
Exactly.
All right. Kelso at Tumwater. Everybody's got Tumwater.
3A school coming in. That'll be fun.
Who's coaching Kelso? Is it still?
I think it's still Amrine.
Amrine? Former Centralia High School coach Steve Amrine?
Yeah, didn't he? You said he turned a 2-7 season into the Kelso job.
I think it was like an 0-10 season at a Kelso job. It was impressive.
His kid is the starting quarterback, so I think he's still there.
I liked Amrine when he was up here.
Yeah, no, he's a cool dude, and Kelso's big. They've got a 3-star offensive lineman who's going to Oregon State. So,
all right,
good test there.
Back to baby.
And I don't know whether this was a mistake on the AD's part or something having to do with referee shortage. But the other thing about that is that's a double header. They're doing the Kelso Tumwater game at 4 and then the Black Hills Rochester game at 7. Both at Sit-On Field.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. And that's on Friday?
Yep.
Let's see. Tenino at Clahoya. Is it Clahoya?
It actually is. I didn't think so, and then I got corrected on it when I watched Clahoya play.
Okay.
Would someone shed some light on where that is for me?
Is it out by where is Clahoya? I don't know. Vamp for a minute. I'll look it up.
Oh, I saw them. They're pretty good. Now, they played Tenino at Lumen last year.
I want to say this is out by like Graham Roy.
Yeah, I think so. Tenino destroyed them at Lumen. They running clocked them, but again, very different Tenino team. I think it really depends on that defense. The only stop that Tenino got in the final 3 quarters of its game against Zilla was with 10 seconds left in the second quarter. Zilla got a hook pattern, I think, or like a curl. It was like a 10-yard pass. The guy broke a tackle, had 50 free yards to the end zone, and just dropped the ball. And Tenino recovered it, and that was the only stop they got. They scored on all of their possessions, all their offensive possessions. So they just need to get a few more stops and let that offense get some breathing room because that offense when it's working is really good.
Clahoya I was way off. It is actually just off the Hood Canal.
Fun times.
Kind of northwest of Bremerton. So now you know. Now we all know.
Bremerton really. now lacking an assistant coach. That was.
Who could have seen that coming? Weird.
What happened there?
Oh, the coach that got
he kept
Supreme Court case about praying on the field and then moved to Florida for 3 years while his case was litigated.
And demanded he be hired back from a job that he wasn't fired from. His contract wasn't renewed, and none of the coaches were still there. And he wasn't.
He coached.
He wasn't even a head coach. He was an assistant coach, and they weren't good. He wasn't a good coach.
He came back. He coached 1 game and then quit.
Oh no!
I have a lot of
got his way.
And he's back in Florida now.
I have a lot of takes on it, and none of them have to do with him praying on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't even a good coach. Anyway.
That's your Bremerton hour there.
Yeah.
They just beat Shelton. That's the other way to localize it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Carson Graham out of British Columbia at Napavine. Do we need to look up where British Columbia is on a map, too?
It's that north place. They're from North Vancouver.
Up there.
They are apparently ranked number 3 in the British Columbia School Sports Association.
Oh, they are in North Vancouver. Look at that.
for what that's worth.
Cool.
If you search the link, the other fun thing to do is search the link on the preview capsules. I think I put it in there. Some of the school names that they play are just A+ schools. They're in the same league that the team from Onalaska played.
Do we know where that
let's
team
see.
on Alaska played finished in that league last year?
No clue, but they're ranked 4th right now.
Oh, okay.
Look at some of those. Give me a good one, Aaron.
Lord Tweedsmear.
Lord Tweedsmear.
Hell yeah. Bring Lord Tweedsmear down here.
What's
Beat
their
his ass,
mascot?
too. I don't know. It's just a graphic. Handsworth? Oh, that sounds inappropriate.
What you doing up there in Canada?
Yeah. Anyway, everybody's got Napa and pick to beat
I
these
have
Canadian
no
fellas.
clue, but probably, right? Right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Exactly.
Safe
I feel like
bet
it's
for
safe
sure.
to assume.
What's the exchange rate on a touchdown anyway?
You get 3 downs.
Toledo at Tootle Lake. Everybody's got Toledo, although Dylan has something called Toledo, which sounds
Autocorrect.
autocorrected.
Nice.
They're probably
yeah.
just going to run a lot. I mean, it's Tootle.
Tootle's been down for a few years, yeah.
Now with win over Morton White Pass.
They do have a win under the belt.
Does the Swanson kid doesn't play football, does he?
No.
What about one of the Cox kids? Any of the
No.
Cox kids play?
No.
All right, well, there you go. Rainier at Onalaska. Everybody's got Ani. Rainier coming off that, 40-point loss to...
Rainier's got the athletes on the outside. I expect them to put up some points, but Toledo just ran it down their throat. And Onalaska has been known to do that from time to time. So,
Does Rainier
Alright.
have any size on their D-line at all?
No.
Okay, yeah, then that's an easy pick.
Everybody's got Ani in that one. Morton White Pass at Forks. Everybody's got Forks except Chad, who's got Morton White Pass. This is in Forks, which is, if you're an odds maker, worth probably 5 points.
yeah, something like that. They did beat them in Morton or Randall last year, and that was really the game that propelled them to a crossover spot.
All right.
But, yeah, we'll see if it happens again.
Peel Valley hits the road to play at... Cathlamet.
Dylan had a great story about this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was talking with Nate Smith just on the phone after their win, and it was just we brought up Wakahikum and heading out there, and all I said was, I've heard that's a tough place to play, and he just goes, yeah, you've been listening to some podcasts. You always got to spot them 7-14 whenever you go out there, so it'll be a tough battle for us.
It's not wrong. Everybody always says, tough place to play.
I never heard that once until I started coming on this podcast.
Yeah, I think Aaron always says, and Aaron got me and Alec to say it.
It was a thing we picked up when Matt Beatty and I were doing the podcast years ago, because coaches like Casey Johnson and Josh Fay and Maz and all those guys always like, Wakahikum's a tough place. I think Casey started it. God, it's a tough place to play out there.
Probably.
And they were talking about football and basketball and like everything. So it's such a long
Wakahikum's
drive.
gym is
I would give it to their gym, just
Yeah.
because there's only fans on one side
and stage on the other.
Yeah.
All wood.
I think it dates back to like the Billy Olson coaching basketball days, probably. But
yeah.
which
Speaking
none
of
of you would have any idea about, but still.
covered
Yeah, I
Billy
wasn't
Olson.
Nacelle?
Not at Wakahikum, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how long this had been going until he mentioned that. He's like, that goes back a ways. And I was like, oh.
speaking of podcast systems, I was in fact listening to the news dump last night, and I did enjoy your Morton pronunciations of whoever that woman was.
The European sounding.
Yeah, Tony Belgiorno had 2 touchdown receptions last week.
Belgium. All right.
Now we're having some fun
Everybody's got PWV to beat Wakahikum,
for all that.
despite it being a tough place to play. I hope it's a good game. Chief Leshai at Winlock. Everybody's gone. Chief Leshai as Winlock played 2 quarters.
It's still on the schedule as of now, I believe.
Okay. And same with Tahola at Oakville. Everybody's
Also
got
still on the
Oakville.
schedule.
These are just kind of like nobody knows. I looked up trying to find schedules and results. And there's
Tahola
just
hasn't
nothing.
played yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
I thought Tahola was in that group of teams out on the coast that was playing 6-man for a while.
Oh, it might be.
I had
Oakville's going 6-man.
I had no feel for this game. I honestly just asked Josh, and I was like,
They haven't
I
won
was
a
like,
game since
Oakville
COVID.
hasn't scored yet this season.
Tahola hasn't
And it
won a
was-
game since COVID.
No, my pick here was solely based on the fact that I have been to Tahola and just what the town looked like versus Oakville.
The Chitwins?
The Twins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great mascot.
Yeah, I guess. And then Mossy Rock at Muckleshoot Tribal. Everybody's gone. Mossy Rock.
Mossy Rock's got 4 weeks of just blowouts until the Nacelle game, pretty much, unless something shocking happens.
But are the ADs going to conspire together and
Just play our JV team.
Just make Monster play their JV or whatever the scandal was.
Go on. Play a bunch of C2BL teams.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's grid picks. What other sports you guys were with the cross country today?
We were at cross country today. It was fine.
Okay.
They ran late, which I feel like you don't want to run late for cross country. It's like the one thing you do, but yep.
All right. Volleyball and soccer are also ongoing. Who's good at volleyball this year?
It's kind of hard to tell.
I really liked Adna yesterday.
Yeah, he went out to Adna. Adna swept Montesano, which is never nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I heard from the coach, obviously they had a group of seniors that left last year, and not that they won't be missed, but they have a lot of now juniors who seem ready to kind of step into just those spots and just keep rolling.
Those 3 sophomores that were really good last year, Guard and Hallam, and Kendall Humphrey.
Yeah, all 3 of them had good.
All 2 of them are back. The other ones, for all the transfer rumors that swirled around the Adna boys program, shall we say, they went in and they picked up Carson Freeman, the girl from Raymond, who wasn't Kara Gardner, but was the other person on all those teams.
Good.
Yeah, she's I know she was the Pacific 2B League basketball player of the year. I believe she was also the volleyball player of the year for at least last year and probably the year before. She's on Adna now, so she's only going to make them better. And they also had, their libero came back from injury?
Mm-hmm. There's 2 Humphreys, I believe, and I'm mixing both of them up. One of them was a senior last year.
Yeah, that would be Natalie.
Natalie. So her sister, I believe, Jaylee, is back. She is now the libero replacing Natalie. She had an Achilles injury last season, but she's back, and she had a good game yesterday as well.
So they're good. Napa Vine beat Tudor Lake in what sounded like it was a good match. We're doing the same thing that they do for softball, where they just play 2 weeks of non-league games against league opponents, which we all love. Exactly. Centralia's looked decent. They started out 2-0. They looked pretty good with 2 non-league wins. They did lose their league opener to Tumwater last night, but it could be interesting. I think that's pretty much it for volleyball. Soccer is happening too. Tenino soccer is on an absolute tear. Tenino soccer took 4 games, I think, to match its goals total from all of last season. They're pretty much averaging at least one person with a hat trick every game. They beat Whitlock 15-0 in a game that maybe shouldn't have happened. But I think they've scored at least 5 in every single game, or something like that. Callie Mickelson is a freshman for them, and she's got 10 goals already, I think.
It's quite a few.
Abigail Archibald's also done really well for them. They Chloe Graylis went into yesterday against Toledo, never had scored a varsity goal, and then picked up a hat trick in like 20 minutes. So they're doing well. Tumwater, of course, is really good. They just beat Centralia 5-0. They've got basically their entire attacking, like their front 4 or 5 or whatever from the team that placed 3rd last year is all back. So they just posted, I think, their 15th straight regular season league shutout or something like that, because they didn't give up a goal all last regular season to league teams. So they're good. WF West just picked up its first win of the Kevin Schultz era, so good for him on that one.
Where are you guys going Friday?
On Friday, I think I'm going to do the doubleheader in Kelso, and Dylan's going to go to Napa Vine, and Cody's going to go to Ani, and maybe even stay the whole time. We shall see.
You're going to go see the Canadians at Napa Vine?
I'm excited about it.
Cody gets to go to a whole game. You're not going to cover that Chief Leshai at Winlock banger?
I mean, you could go if you want.
I do not.
It's not a whole lot. A lot of teams on the road this week. The schedulers did not do a good job scheduling with us in mind of spreading out the good, giving us like 3 or 4 good games a week. We got a couple of these weeks where it's just a handful, and then later in the month there's going to be we're going to have to miss a couple really good ones.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week to discuss what happened and, do the usual grid picks and whatnot.